Okay, an exciting day. We feel like we seized momentum here late and finished really strong, and obviously think we set a course for sustained success and growth of success in this program. 20 of the 21 signees are going to early enroll. So it's going to set a course for us to have a great January and get ahead in our work for next season. But clearly a day where we were able to plant a flag, and especially here locally, create some energy yesterday and last night, kind of sealing up some local recruits that we think can make a big impact in our program. And we love the class that we've had intact since the spring and summer, and obviously added a couple pieces in the fall. This is a class that needs to define what success will be like for us as we move forward as a program. And very pleased with the staff's effort, very grateful for our recruiting team and our scouting team for the work they put in. And again, an exciting day for us as a football program.
We'll start with Joey.
Jared Curtis, how big of a deal is that to land him?
Well, it's a big deal because Jared was paying attention to our program and was able to get around it and spend time with me, spend time with our offensive staff, spend time with our players, and connected with the energy and the people in this building. And that's a big deal because obviously he's a highly thought of prospect, the best prospect in the country, and he's right here in our backyard. And this next phase of the build needs be about how we can put a fence up and keep the best players that are here local, make this Nashville's team. And I think that's a strong statement in that respect. He's a young player still. We have a ton of belief in his potential, and we're going to need to be patient in his development as he transitions. But I just appreciate his belief in what we're doing. I appreciate his strength of personality and making a decision, and that he had his right in his heart and not being swayed in the other direction. And I appreciate his belief in this program and where it's headed, and I'm excited for him to be a part of it.
Chris.
You couldn't even get local kids like that to look at Vanderbilt traditionally. Not you, but like the program
Sure.
couldn't. How big of a step is that for you, number one? And walk us through the journey. When did you know you had a chance? What were the things that flipped a guy like that wouldn't look at you to not just look at you but come here?
Yeah. We can't do anything about what this program has been in its past. I mean, that's been the refrain. It takes time. It takes time to change perception. To change perception outside, you first have to change behavior inside. And we've spent a lot of time, 5 years, internally resuscitating and then growing the spirit of this program, and that is now rippling out. And so, we're now back-to-back winning seasons. Obviously, this season, we, for the first time in program history, won 10 games. If we can continue to stack these years in short order, you'll have high school seniors that have through their high school career never experienced Vanderbilt as anything other than a winner. That's the vision, So now all of a sudden they're not having to worry about what it looked like, 6, 7 years ago. They're only focused on what it is. What we've had throughout the entirety of my time here is great connection and great energy in the recruiting process. And so there's never been a visit that happens that a prospect or a family doesn't come away saying, hey, that place is different. That feels different. This is the constant feedback we've had as we've combined that energy with proof of concept results. We still have important work ahead of us, and these prospects and families need to be visionaries, but you don't have to work as hard to create that vision, right? We're actually living it out right now, which I think goes a long way in, again, in making it tangible. And so when you talk about local players, you're talking about guys that would love to play in front of their hometown, play close to their families, to continue to live in a dynamic city. that offers so much in the way of opportunity. And we've given them reason now to stay home, and with another Nashville kid, you know, if I can say that kid, I don't know. I guess I'm beyond that now, but this is about being hometown heroes, you know, and I think that message, that narrative is impactful, and it's been exciting. As far as Jared's process, again, I can't emphasize, this has nothing to do with glitz and glam. It has nothing to do with overarching or, you know, big sales pitches. And, you know, this was about a player who was paying attention, who I think saw some of himself in Diego, who created connection there, who got around kind of the key relationships that will be important to his development and growth here. Who built connection that way, and who continued to pay attention and to get around in ways that allowed him to feel what this experience would be like. And what a classy statement he put out. I think what a great representative of this program, and the respect I have for him, again, and knowing what was on his heart and having the strength of personality to stand up and say, this is what I'm going to do. You know, obviously I appreciate it because it's a strong statement and belief, not just about where we are, but where we're headed. But also, I think when you talk about the personality of a quarterback, you want people that have that level of conviction. You know, we've learned that here. That's been important to where we've gotten this program. And, you know, again, he's demonstrating that personality in this process, say, you know, that's the kind of guy that can take us further.
You've got Nate Bargassi and Theo Vaughn out there pitching for you. You've got Diego going to Jared's games. You guys are flipping kids, you know, Owen from Alabama, Jared from Georgia. Could you realistically have imagined you be standing here today talking about this? I mean, I know that it's always been the goal, but like, does it feel real to you?
Well, it feels real. I appreciate your question. I understand what you're saying. I think we can't, and even as you ask that question now, as we stand here, and where will we be 5 years from now, I think let's not put limitations on what that could look like. We'll certainly be in a new building, which will be fantastic. But, you know, we're learning a lot about, you know, what it takes to get in that playoff, what it takes to push towards the national championship. We're equipping our program both in terms of resources and leadership from Candace and Chancellor Diermeyer to, you know, how we're shaping our roster and how we're building this thing out for the future, what we've learned about success in this conference. But it used to be what success looks like in this conference for Vanderbilt. Now it needs to be about how we elevate to the top end of this conference and we stay there. And I mean, those are challenging things to do, but as we stand right now, let's not put limitations on what this will look like in 5 years. If you go back 5 years and say, could you imagine? Of course I could. Am I enjoying the feeling of being here? Of course I am, you know, and do moments where, yeah, I'm on the phone with Jared and he's telling me he's coming, and Owen and those guys that, you know, late in the process decided to kind of follow their heart and follow their belief in what we're building. Do those conversations, they carry meaning for me? Of course they do, you know, and so this is special on a lot of levels, but yet, you know, this is, as with every signing day, it's a beginning of a process, and the process is about the development of people, and we play in the toughest arenas on the biggest stages, and these guys need time to mature and grow in this program. And as they do that, you know, I think, again, let's not put any limitations on where we can go from here. What Jared did, yeah, that was first. And Chris, to your point, that was about a month of time that process took hold over, and it was again very subtle. It was not. There weren't big things. There were, you know, small interactions that built up.
Jared, in his statement, made underdog seem like the coolest thing. It fired you up when you were reading that paragraph. what message does that send to other athletes to come and want to be a part of building something and creating their own legacy?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just a part of who we are. This isn't a place where you're inheriting other people's success. Now, we're shifting that a little bit because there's a legacy being built by the players that are investing in this program currently. And we will benefit from the teams that have fought and won here and worked hard and sacrificed for the improvement of the program. But this is a place that you come to if you want to be tested, if you want to learn about your own limitations, if you want to belong to something bigger than yourself. If you're interested in inheriting success, if you're interested in, walking into a trophy case that's already full and a hallway full of NFL players on the walls, then there are other programs where you can do that. If you can walk these hallways and see your picture on the wall, and if you can look at an empty case and say the trophies that will go in there, if you want to put your signature on the success, then this is the perfect place. We are a team of misfits. We are a group of guys that have been discounted and counted out. Obviously, that is continuing to happen, so we don't have to go far to look for the chip on the shoulder and the motivation. If they're going to keep us out of the playoff this year, then we have to kick the damn door down next year. That's who we are. And so, Jared connecting with that, and really our entire signing class and our team connecting with that attitude. This is about a group of people doing something for the first time. It is about a group of people choosing a place where they can, again, put their signature on the success.
Since you brought it up, Diego Pavia is trying to kick down the White House door, calling for an executive order from the president to expand the playoff. When he sent out that statement, one, do you agree with that sentiment that something should be done? And two, do you think there's a chance something could happen? Marco Rubio talked about it too in the cabinet meeting yesterday, that an executive order could expand the playoff and get Vanderbilt in.
Let's go. I mean, we'll go anywhere and everywhere. This is about a belief in a team, and if they're willing to listen, we'll make our case. Because again, we have a flawed system right now. Some of this is, is the product of just we've tangled the wires too much. I mean, I'm baffled by process. I'm baffled by comments made about the whys and the why nots, and the movement of teams up and down. And I wake up this morning and Utah's below us and now Texas is above us, and I wonder what in the world is going on. So if we can have someone come in from over the top and say, this is what we're going to do, I think at least there's clarity in that. And if I can understand it, I can accept it. And I think that's really important. If I can understand it, I can accept it. But when I don't understand it, then I'm very skeptical of what's going on. And this team deserves to be in the playoff and deserves to compete for a national championship.
Vincent, and then Joey.
So how would you reform that process?
Well, can I just complain about it first and then give me some time and let me work on the reformation? As I sit here in front of you, 12 or 16, the more the merrier. That's how I see it. I say this as the Vanderbilt coach, but I speak, I think, on behalf of a lot of my peers, that when you have a team that deserves to reach for that, I mean, think how exciting it is if you have a 16-team playoff, that there's opportunity for 16 programs to compete for the ultimate prize. That gets me excited. So, that I would love to see more teams included. But even at 12, to look at it and say we're gonna come up with an airtight, objective system that eliminates the human elements of this. I mean, if we're using polls somehow, Oklahoma beats UT by 6 and they go up 7 spots in the AP poll. We beat UT by 21 points and we're moved down 1 spot. Explain that to me, because I just have a hard time understanding that. So we got to remove the subjective parts of this from it. It's got to become a tighter process. I think there are other examples of tournaments that are assembled that have a sounder reasoning behind it. And that's really as far as I can go right now. because there's time and attention that needs to be put into what it really looks like, and that's actually happening, above and beyond my scope. But we as coaches will have a say in this moving forward. And, as we're getting together in our AFCA conference and as we're meeting as, SEC members, I think it's important that we exercise our voice and we collaborate on the solution, because it's not okay right now as it is.
Joey?
I guess two-part. First, do you expect Jared Curtis to early enroll? And then two, just how much of a chance does he have to be the starter week 1?
Yes, he will early enroll. He'll be here. So that'll be great. To the second part, I mean, I'm not going to put a chance on it, meaning I'm not going to assign a number to it, I should say. That he will absolutely have an opportunity to compete, just like the guys we have that are in our program. And, by the time we're playing a game, it's about putting the best 11 on the field. And that is exactly the conversation that Jared and I have had, and that's the same conversation I'll have with the quarterbacks that are in our program. And I expect for those guys to work together, collaborate, and to build the best quarterback room in the country.
Chris?
You built this brand on underdogs and chip on your shoulder and misfits, and now you're getting 5-star kids. I know you got more you can't talk about right now, that sort of thing. Always the object is to get better and more talented players, but that's a different class that you're recruiting into now. How do you make sure that you get better players without losing what got you here in the first place?
Well, we don't change who we are, and so the underdog and chip on the shoulder aspect of our program is an attitude. It's a perspective. It's a paradigm through which we view our experience. There's an absence of entitlement in that. There's an absence of this feeling of arrival. We are very interested. I say to recruits all the time, hey, you want to be the best player in the country? I want to be the best coach in the country. The only thing's true about the two of us sitting right here is that we can't go on as we are. We have to change. And I'm going to ask you, Chris, because you asked the question, is change easy or hard? Does it feel good or does it hurt? Is it convenient or inconvenient? And is it dangerous? It feels that way. And so those signatures, those things, to me are promises, they're agreements, they're a shared understanding of what we're going to go through together, that eliminates this idea that you've arrived. And so we want 5-star players, 5-star traits, with like this underdog mentality, this chip on the shoulder attitude, because that's what's actually going to allow us to build the best team. And truthfully, I say 5-star. I mean, I don't care what the star rating is. I want to know the skill sets there, and I want to know the attitudes right. And that's how we build the best version of Vanderbilt football. And as long as we stay true to who we are and stay true to our selection process, and use those conversations and interactions as filtration, then this thing will not just maintain the attitude of underdog, it actually will purify and become more in focus that way, and I think that's when it becomes really fun.
We'll go with Tom and then finish up with Alina.
To get to Nashville kids today, and you flip both of them, how much of an importance is it to recruit local and to lock down Nashville and to have them staying here and not going anywhere else in the SEC?
Well, there's such a talented recruiting base here, and it only strengthens year in, year out. So it's an opportunity for us to elevate our program, and the further we can reach into that and make this our recruiting hub, I think the higher that the program reaches and the more sustainable the program becomes. And this program is the opportunity for Nashville kids to stay home and play at the highest level of college football. And so my job is to put a product on the field that excites them, that energizes them. We want to have the most fun out of any team in the country, and we're doing that right now, and that energy's rippling out into the greater Nashville community. You see more flags in yards, you see more T-shirts in community, and this is becoming a cool place to come watch a game. And as that continues to deepen, that feeling, that sentiment, I think you're going to see opportunity for us to go even further in reaching into this talented recruiting base and building a team that that has strong roots here in town.
Last question, Elena.
Did you have one too? Or are you good? I want to make
I
sure.
have more, but if you're-
We can go. Can we do two more? Is that all right?
Me?
Yeah, you're
I
up.
don't know, sorry. It's just kind of like a question to kind of reflect on after getting Curtis. When you were recruiting Diego, was Heisman finalist something that you were able to sell him?
No, listen. First of all, I don't sell anything, and second of all, I don't know if you've met Diego, but he doesn't need anyone to tell him what he's capable of, which is a beautiful part of who he is. What he's done is manifested his belief and his confidence in himself into performance on the field. He's done that in collaboration with our strength staff, our coaching staff, his teammates, all of that. And he recognizes that too. It all converges for these moments and opportunities. But what he has done is demonstrated what's possible within this program. And I think that is a very strong statement about where this can go. And just like with the playoff selection, I mean, I think with every year that we show that we're serious about this and we're here to stay and we're not backing down and we're not sitting in the corner and we're not staying quiet, the less we're going to deal with the kind of bias against the Vanderbilt's past, right? We're going to be seen for who we are and where we are, and so we're going to have to do less in terms of politicking for attention. It's like, oh no, when you go to Nashville and play that Vanderbilt team, you know what you're in for. You know exactly what this group is going to be, and this team this year has taken an important step to get us to that point.
We'll go to Elena and then up to Paul.
Yeah, whether it was Diego lobbying for expanding the playoffs or some other players kind of expressing their disappointment after the rankings came out, have you been able to talk to them about the way they're feeling, and if so, what's your message to them been?
I share frustration. I share with the group, and to be honest, the last time we were together as a team was yesterday morning, so it was before. Now we talked about the fact that the ranking was going to come out, and and I said, my feeling is that it may not move very much, just because I can't seem to figure out what goes on in that room, and if I can't understand it, I can't predict it. But my challenge to them is and was to know that we will continue to fight. I told them to have their bags packed. If a team calls up and wants us to take a flight to go play them on Saturday, we're going to go play them on Saturday. That's still true. If I have 2 days to prepare a team, we'll get a plane, we'll get there Friday night, we'll play on Saturday, and I'm happy to do it. And the team is happy to do it as well. And then I said, if it's not to be, if we're not allowed in, then our job is to go and perform to our highest of ability in whatever game we're put in. And these guys will do that because they care so much about this program. And those things are out of our control now. We were, a couple plays away from in the Alabama game from making it really interesting. We were probably 6 inches away in the Texas game from recovering a kick to put us in position for a tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown, and we came up short. And so in those moments, that was the last control we had over it. We'll deal with whatever comes, and we'll attack what's in front of us.
Paul.
Clark, obviously, everybody can see from the outside, from afar, the progress that you've made with this program. But having players like Diego going to Jared's games and actively being a part of that recruiting process, how big of a deal is that to have somebody like him to go to these guys and make his pitch and encourage people to come here?
Well, Diego's arguably one of the most popular athletes in our city, and one of the most popular football players in the sport, college football. So the mark he leaves anywhere he goes, I mean, he has he's got a certain stature about him that I think can certainly be impactful. His choice to go to a game or to engage in recruiting, I mean, if you think about that, what does he have at stake in that, right? That's a testament to how he feels about this program and the legacy that's really important to him, that it doesn't end with him. And so I think that's a really special part of all this is, the sense of connection he's built here, but also beyond him. I mean, all the guys that we've welcomed into this program for some of them 8 months, some of them for 2 years, that they feel so deeply connected that they're willing to host recruits or engage in that way without being asked. I mean, it's just, it's important to him. So I'm grateful for all of the team's efforts. One of the things I'm really proud of in our recruiting process is these guys want to win. The mission's winning. They understand that talented people will help us move towards that goal, take ground on our mission more quickly. So when we bring high school players in or bring transfers in, there isn't this culture here where we have a scarcity mindset, and it's going to be me versus him for playing time. We understand iron sharpens iron, and there's this welcoming of people in to move our program forward. And I'm proud of that because I don't think that happens everywhere. And again, it's a reflection of how our players feel about what they're a part of and their interest in growing it further. And Diego's efforts in this particular case, I think, speak to that connection, speak to that sense of legacy, I think it's special.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.